Welcome, Professor here. You're terrible at predicting how long things take. I don't mean to be rude, but it's true. And the weird part? Even when you know you're bad at it, you still keep making the same mistake over and over again. Think about the last time you started a project. Maybe it was something for work, or school, or just fixing something around the house. You probably thought it would take a couple hours, maybe a day at most. But then days turned into weeks, and that simple thing you thought would be quick turned into this massive time sink that ate up way more of your life than you ever imagined. And here's the crazy part. This wasn't the first time this happened to you. It probably wasn't even the 10th time. You've been underestimating how long things take your entire life, and there's a psychological reason why your brain keeps lying to you about time. This problem has a name. It's called the planning fallacy, and it's one of the most annoying biases your brain has. Basically, it means that people consistently underestimate how long tasks will take, how much they'll cost, and what risks are involved. And this doesn't just happen to disorganized people or people who are bad at planning. It happens to everyone. Even professional project managers who literally plan things for a living fall victim to this. Let me give you a perfect example. The Sydney Opera House in Australia is one of the most famous buildings in the world. When they started planning it in the late 1950s, they estimated it would take 4 years to build and cost about $7 million. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, it actually took 14 years to complete and cost over $100 million. That's not a small miscalculation. That's being off by 10 years and nearly 15 times the budget. And this wasn't some random construction crew. These were professional architects and engineers who had built things before. They knew what they were doing, but they still got it massively wrong. And if professionals can be that wrong, what chance do the rest of us have? Here's what makes the planning fallacy so frustrating. You would think that after getting burned once or twice, people would learn. You would think that after finishing a project late, you'd remember that experience and add extra time to your next estimate. But that's not what happens. Instead, people keep making the same optimistic predictions over and over again, even when their track record shows they're always wrong. Researchers have studied this extensively, and they found something really interesting. When you ask people to estimate how long a task will take them, they think about their best-case scenario. They imagine everything going smoothly. They picture themselves working efficiently with no interruptions, no problems, no unexpected issues. They think about the task itself in isolation, as if it exists in a perfect world where nothing else is happening. But real life doesn't work like that. In real life, you get interrupted. Your computer crashes. You realize you don't have all the materials you need. You get sick. Other urgent things come up that you have to deal with. Your motivation isn't always at peak levels. You need breaks. You get stuck on hard parts and need time to figure them out. A million little things happen that you didn't account for in your original estimate. The problem is, your brain doesn't naturally think about all these possibilities when making predictions. Your brain takes a shortcut. It thinks about the task in the most straightforward way possible and estimates based on that ideal version. It's like planning a road trip and only thinking about the driving time, without accounting for gas stops, bathroom breaks, traffic, getting lost, stopping for food, or any of the dozen other things that actually happen on road trips. There's another layer to this, too. When you think about future tasks, you tend to think about them in abstract terms. You think, I need to write a report, or I need to clean the garage. But when you actually do the task, you realize it's made up of hundreds of smaller steps. Writing a report means researching, organizing your thoughts, writing a rough draft, editing, formatting, getting feedback, revising again. Cleaning the garage means sorting through everything, deciding what to keep, finding boxes, hauling stuff to the car, driving to donate things, sweeping, organizing what's left. Each of these small steps takes time, and they add up fast. Your brain is really bad at breaking down future tasks into all their component parts. It sees the big picture but misses all the details. And those details are where all the time actually goes. Let me give you a personal example that probably sounds familiar. You're working on something and it's taking longer than you thought. Someone asks you when you'll be done. You look at what you have left to do and you think, okay, I just need to finish this one section and then do a quick review. Maybe an hour. 3 hours later, you're still working on it. What happened? What happened is you forgot about all the little things. You forgot that the section you needed to finish was actually harder than you thought. You forgot that the quick review would reveal problems that needed fixing. You forgot that you'd need to stop and look something up. You forgot that you'd get a message you needed to respond to. You forgot that you'd need to step away and clear your head for a bit. All these little forgotten things turned your 1 hour estimate into 3 hours. And here's the really annoying part. Even knowing about the planning fallacy doesn't automatically fix it. You can be fully aware that you always underestimate time, and you'll still do it. Again on your next project. Your brain is stubborn. It really wants to believe that this time will be different. This time everything will go smoothly. This time you'll work at peak efficiency the whole time. This time there won't be any unexpected problems. Psychologists call this the optimism bias. Humans are naturally optimistic about their own abilities and their own future. This is usually a good thing. It keeps us motivated and willing to take on challenges. But when it comes to planning, this optimism works against us. We think we're better and faster than we actually are. We think we have more control over circumstances than we really do. There's also something called the inside view versus the outside view. When you're planning something, you naturally take the inside view. You think about your specific situation, your specific project, your specific abilities. But the inside view is unreliable because it makes you focus on all the unique details while ignoring the broader patterns. The outside view is different. The outside view asks, what usually happens in situations like this? If you're writing a report, the outside view asks, how long did similar reports take me in the past? If you're doing home repairs, the outside view asks, how long do home repairs typically take? The outside view uses actual data and past experiences instead of optimistic imagination. So how do you actually beat the planning fallacy? How do you stop lying to yourself about time? First, you need to actively force yourself to take that outside view. When you're estimating how long something will take, don't just think about the task itself. Think about similar tasks you've done before. Be honest about how long those actually took. If your last 3 projects all took twice as long as you initially thought, guess what? This one probably will too. Second, break everything down into smaller steps. Don't estimate write a report as one block of time. Estimate time for research, for outlining, for writing each section, for editing, for formatting. When you break things down, you're forced to think about all the little details you would otherwise forget. Third, add buffer time. Whatever your estimate is, multiply it. Some people use the rule of doubling their initial estimate. Some people add 50%. Find what works for you based on your track record. And here's the key. Don't think of this buffer as wasted time or padding. Think of it as realistic time. The buffer isn't extra. The buffer is just accounting for reality. Fourth, ask other people. If you're doing something that other people have experience with, ask them how long it took. People are much better at estimating other people's task times than their own. This is because when you're thinking about someone else's project, you don't have the same optimism bias. You can be more realistic because you're not emotionally invested in believing it'll be quick and easy. Fifth, track your actual time. Keep a record of how long tasks really take you. This is boring and nobody wants to do it, but it's incredibly valuable. After tracking for a while, you'll have real data about your patterns. You'll see that certain types of tasks always take longer than you think. You'll see where your estimates are most wrong, and having this data makes it harder for your brain to trick you with optimistic predictions. The planning fallacy is everywhere in life. It's why students always start papers the night before they're due. It's why construction projects go over budget. It's why software launches get delayed. It's why you're always rushing to make it to appointments on time. It's why your to-do list never seems to get finished even though you thought you had plenty of time. Understanding this bias doesn't make it go away completely, but it does give you tools to fight back against it. You can't change how your brain naturally thinks, but you can add extra steps to catch yourself before you make unrealistic plans. The next time you estimate how long something will take, pause. Ask yourself if you're thinking about the best-case scenario or the realistic scenario. Think about past experiences. Break the task down. Add buffer time. Get outside opinions. And most importantly, remember that being realistic about time isn't being pessimistic. It's being smart. Because here's the thing. When you make realistic plans, you actually get things done on time. You don't stress out because you're not constantly behind. You don't disappoint people by being late. You don't have to make excuses. And you don't spend your life wondering why you can never seem to finish anything when you plan to. The planning fallacy has been controlling your schedule your whole life. Now you know what it is, how it works, and how to fight it. Use that knowledge. Your future self will thank you when you're not panicking about deadlines anymore. Hit subscribe if you want to learn about more mental biases that are secretly running your life without you realizing it.